My roommate is a naive and innocent girl who believes everyone in the world is good except for us, her roommates. In the same dormitory, we reminded her not to get close to the green gauze curtain at the school construction site, but she wouldn't listen. You guys think too well of people. You get treated the way you treat others. Yet when she was dragged into the green gauze curtain, it was me and my roommates who rushed to save her without hesitation. However, she just ran away screaming, neither calling the police nor asking for help, leaving us to be brutally killed. When I opened my eyes again, I was back in the military training during our freshman year. Suddenly, I noticed the deep-seated hatred in the eyes of my friends who had died miserably in the previous life. I realized that we all had been reborn. Looking at her who was about to fall into the drill instructor's arms, we all took a step back simultaneously. Sorry, we have an aversion to stupidity. Who are her roommates? Hurry up and help her to rest. The sun was scorching, and the air was sticky and stuffy. Everyone was taking a break under the shade of the trees. I was startled by the drill instructor's angry shout. Looking up, I saw Chloe leaning weakly and bonelessly against the drill instructor. The moment I saw her, the pain and hatred from my miserable death in the previous life overwhelmed me, making it almost hard to breathe. Suddenly, a hand reached out and tightly grasped mine. Turning my head, when I saw the equally deep-seated hatred in the eyes of Ava and Lily who had died with me standing beside me, I realized that we all had been reborn. This time, no matter what you want to do, we won't stop you, Chloe. Chloe is our roommate. When we first met, she was lively, cheerful, enthusiastic, and proactive. But she said she was a naive and innocent girl and she knew nothing, from making the bed and doing laundry to socializing and taking exams. In the previous life, we all thought she was just well protected by her family and was relatively simple-minded. We helped her and taught her a lot of things. Everyone thought it was better to have a simple-minded and naive roommate than one with ulterior motives. But none of us expected that Chloe was not only stupid but also bad. She had no sense of safety at all. She believed whatever others told her. Everyone in the world is good except us. We reminded her not to get close to the sparsely populated construction site on campus. She frowned, looking disapproving. How can you think like this? I think these are all made-up stories. Then, as if deliberately going against us, she almost took a detour through the remote construction site where no one could be seen every day. I still remember that afternoon. The sky was overcast, and it seemed like it was going to rain soon. We came out of the classroom and planned to go back to the dormitory quickly. Chloe said she had an appointment with Brother Wrecker at the construction site and would go to deliver water to them later. Then, ignoring our dissuasion, she ran towards the distance. Out of concern for our friend, we decided to find Chloe and go back to the dormitory together. Just as we were about to reach the construction site, my phone received a call from her. "Scarlett, come and save me, Scarlett." Chloe's voice was interrupted, and the sounds of dragging and arguing came from the other end of the phone. We immediately ran over and saw two burly men dragging her towards the unopened desolate grassland on campus. Seeing the three of us rushing up, the two men were flustered, and Chloe also broke free in the chaos. When she ran away, she pushed Ava, who was closest to her, towards the men. Seeing this, Lily and I rushed forward to fight with them, while Chloe took the opportunity to escape. Even though there were three of us, our bodies, which lacked regular exercise, were still no match for the two strong men. I was pushed to the ground, and my head hit a big stone on the ground hard. I could feel my life force draining from the back of my head. Raindrops fell on my face. The last picture I saw before closing my eyes was the man walking towards me, unzipping his pants. Chloe ran away. She didn't call the police or seek help. It was not until the next day when our classmates noticed that the three of us were absent at the same time and felt something was wrong that our bodies were found. Facing the police's questioning, Chloe's face turned pale. "I'm not wrong. They provoked those people and got killed. Yes, I'm not wrong. Is this the person we risked our lives to save?" I felt a shudder coming from the depths of my soul. The drill instructor's urging voice came to my ears again. Instead of going forward, we quietly took a step back. The drill instructor was obviously angry, and his tone was rather unfriendly. Chloe, who was leaning against him, also felt it, so she slowly raised her hand towards us. "Scarlett, Ava, Lily, could you take me to the infirmary?" Seeing everyone looking at us, I immediately winked at Lily. Lily understood what I meant. Right in front of everyone's eyes, she fell down. "Lily, what's wrong with you?" Ava and I immediately rushed forward before anyone could react. We reported to the drill instructor and carried Lily away from the playground. Sitting in the school hospital, enjoying the breeze from the small fan, the three of us looked at each other with tears in our eyes. Having a second chance at life, we can't lose our lives for someone like Chloe again. She doesn't deserve it. This time, let's help her follow the path of her original destiny. I'll watch her reap what she sows. Through the window, I saw the two people who had pretended not to know each other just now but now were whispering as they came to the school hospital, the drill instructor leading our military training. Jake is a senior who came back after serving in the army for 2 years. Relying on the filter of his status as a drill instructor, he was dating several girls at the same time while hiding from his girlfriend who was already working. Ava has a wide circle of friends. After learning about his jerk behavior, she stopped Chloe, who was desperately trying to get close to him and was being kept in his fish pond. But she said we were maliciously speculating about others and didn't understand Jake at all. However, due to our obstruction, they didn't get any further. Later, when Jake's girlfriend posted the evidence of his cheating on the campus forum and brought people to slap Jake and his mistress hard on the playground, she secretly sighed in relief but still stubbornly said there must be some misunderstanding. Since that's the case, this time, let's help you understand exactly what this misunderstanding is. Lily's health has always been poor, and she has a doctor's certificate that excuses her from military training. But after Chloe found out about this, she stood on the moral high ground and implicitly and explicitly accused Lily of using such means to escape military training. Lily felt embarrassed by what she said and also participated in the military training. But instead of Lily collapsing, Chloe was the one who felt dizzy and out of breath from time to time. Now, taking this opportunity, Lily directly applied to be exempt from military training. When the three of us were in the dormitory enjoying the air conditioner and eating ice cream, an indignant Chloe came back. "Lily, the drill instructor said you apply for exemption from training. We agreed to create beautiful military training memories together. How can you back out alone? What will Scarlett and Ava think?" Seeing that she brought us into this, Ava couldn't help but retort. "Chloe, what are you up to? Lily fainted today, and you still want her to continue training? The doctor has certified that she's not suitable for high-intensity training. What are you yapping about?" After saying that, Ava squinted her eyes and sized Chloe up and down. "But considering your training intensity of getting dizzy after walking 2 steps, it probably doesn't matter to you." Chloe didn't expect that Ava, who had maintained an awkward amicability with her yesterday, would suddenly be so aggressive towards her today. Her eyes immediately welled up with tears, and she lay prone on the table crying. Our plan hadn't even started yet, and Ava, who couldn't hold back and retorted at her, felt a bit regretful and kept winking at me desperately. I walked up to her, squatted down, and comforted Chloe in a falsely gentle voice. "Chloe, don't be sad. Ava was just worried about Lily. You wouldn't want to see Lily get into trouble because of the military training, would you?" Of course, I wouldn't. I just thought we could do things together," she said after a long while, lifting her head and choking out these words. I slyly steered the conversation towards her. "But I heard that the drill instructor carried you to the school hospital today. How romantic." Sure enough, her face flushed red. "Yes, I think Jake is really nice. He's not like what Ava said." Hearing this, Ava snorted, took a deep breath, and swallowed back the words she was about to say before speaking. "You're right. I think seeing is believing. Those rumors are inaccurate. I also think he treats you specially. When you had heat stroke today, he looked really worried about you. Upon hearing Ava's words, Chloe's eyes lit up, and with a smile on her lips, she still pretended to be shy and annoyed. Lily also added fuel to the fire in a timely manner. Yeah, and if you get on well with him, he'll surely go easy on you during the military training later. Maybe you can rest like me. I didn't like him for that reason, Chloe said as she picked up her phone and went to the balcony. Great. The only thing we were worrying about was that you wouldn't take the bait. The plan was progressing smoothly. After the military training, we often saw the two of them doing things together. But with our encouragement, Chloe and Jake's relationship grew closer and closer. They would talk on the phone until midnight every night. This had seriously affected our rest time, and all three of us in the dormitory had talked to Chloe about it. However, she would just blink her innocent big eyes at you and say, "Is it that loud?" But I've been speaking in a whisper. This dormitory belongs to 4 people, and I have my share too. You can't be so selfish. After that, she continued chatting regardless of our wishes. If this went on, I'm afraid we would die of sudden death due to lack of sleep before our revenge plan even started. So we went to see the counselor together. The counselor called Chloe to the office to explain the situation. What's going on, Chloe? You talking on the phone until early morning has seriously affected everyone's rest time. Upon hearing the counselor's words, Chloe's eyes immediately turned red. I'm sorry. I didn't realize it would have such a big impact on them. I've been very quiet. I thought it was still early when I was on the phone and they weren't asleep yet. Also, teacher, I was just so lonely in the dormitory, always being alone. That's why I made those calls. Hearing her words, the counselor's eyes on the 3 of us became rather subtle. Seeing that the counselor seemed to think we were isolating Chloe, I didn't want to entangle with her and proposed to change the dormitory. It's just the beginning of the semester, and our major has just moved to the new campus. The beds are in short supply, and there are no spare beds or dormitories for you to move around. She squinted her eyes and swept a glance among us before adding. Also, since you all live in the same dormitory, you should be more tolerant of each other. Don't form cliques just at the beginning of the semester. Chloe immediately agreed pitifully. I held back Ava, who was so angry that she wanted to rush up and hit someone, and left the office. Since she won't listen to reason, then I'll have to take action. After the whole dormitory was reborn, we're going to take revenge on our first love-obsessed roommate. Why are you treating me like this? I'm just having voice calls with Jake. You're just jealous of me. Back in the dormitory, Chloe was the first to go crazy. I'm not moving out of the dormitory. You won't succeed. In the evening, she started her flirting voice call with Jake on time and even played it on speaker more recklessly. Chloe, I'm saying this one more time. Your behavior during this period has seriously affected my health. I'll get into trouble if I don't get enough rest. She didn't reply but answered with even louder flirting. Fine. The pre-warning has been given. In the middle of the night, when she was almost done chatting and was about to turn off her phone and go to sleep, I slowly sat up in bed without saying a word. I quietly got out of bed, took out a watermelon knife from my school bag, held it in my hand, and slowly walked towards her bed. In her terrified eyes, I directly swung the knife at the railing of her bed. Bang! The sound of metal colliding was really nice. Ah! Chloe let out a short scream of terror and then couldn't make any sound. Through the light from the window, I saw the shadow of myself holding the big knife high and then swung the knife at her on the bed again. Oh! Help! Help! Someone's killing me! The knife landed on her quilt, just a fist length away from her leg. Amid her screams, I slowly left her bed, put the knife back in my bag, and went back to bed to sleep. The next morning, as soon as I got up, I saw 2 huge dark circles under her eyes. Good morning, Chloe. Scarlett, why did you try to cut me with a knife last night? What are you talking about? I have no idea. Oh, I haven't told you. I have somnambulism. It hasn't flared up for a long time. Maybe I haven't been getting enough rest recently, so it relapsed. Under her frightened and terrified gaze, I continued. You said I attacked you during my episode yesterday. Then if I were to kill someone while sleepwalking, how would they sentence me? She was so scared that she almost fled in a panic. Chloe's request to change the dormitory was rejected by the counselor for the same reason. She didn't come back until the dormitory gate was about to close. As soon as she opened the door, she saw me standing behind the door waiting for her and was startled. Go wash up, Chloe. You'll be late for your chat later. She didn't make a voice call today, which was rare. After washing up, she just pretended to be asleep in bed. But for a whole week, I still walked around her bed with a knife every night. She gets scared so easily. This is so boring. Chloe has been much more well-behaved during this period. But she just can't help showing off to us how nice her boyfriend Jake is to her. Yeah, she and Jake confirmed their relationship. They're showing off their love like crazy. Wow, you two are so sweet. Right. Yes. Every time she shows off, we just give perfunctory answers because her bubble of sweetness is about to burst soon. Through Ava's WeChat moments, we got in touch with Jake's girlfriend outside the school. Thanks to Chloe's habit of playing voice calls on speaker, before Ava secretly recorded their conversations, and now they can be used as evidence together with the love-showing moments on her WeChat. Sure enough, a few days later, we heard the campus gossip about her and the scumbag being beaten up by the legitimate girlfriend on the playground. In the video shared on the campus forum, Chloe and Jake were forced to kneel on the ground, and a very mature and charming sister swung her arms and slapped each of them across the face. After that, as if still not satisfied, she turned around and kicked Jake hard in the lower body. She's really a heroic woman, a role model for us in the dormitory. Chloe, with a messy hair and a face swollen like a pig's head, was crying and complaining to us. Woo. I didn't want this to happen either. I was deceived too. He said his girlfriend treated him badly and lied to me that he was going to break up with her. Lily rolled her eyes upon hearing this. Ava, being straightforward, said, What? You knew he had a girlfriend and still got together with him. Aren't you being shameless? How can you say that? I'm also a victim. If his girlfriend were gentler, Jake wouldn't have done this. After saying that, she suddenly said viciously to Ava, It's all your fault for not stopping me. You clearly knew Jake had a girlfriend. What you said is ridiculous. Do I have to stop every dog that's eating, expletive, on the road? Ava was speechless. Seeing that she couldn't get any comfort in our dormitory, Chloe turned and went to the next door dormitory. Since then, she hardly came back to our dormitory except for sleeping. She spent all her other time with the girls in the next door dormitory. We weren't worried that she would spread bad words about us, but we were afraid that her absurd behavior would bring trouble to the other dormitory. However, before we sent Ava, our intelligence agent, to gather information, we found that she was staying up late to help the next door dormitory make PPTs, write speech drafts, and organize notes. These were the class presentation assignments. In the previous life, when she was with us, she was never enthusiastic about these assignments. But this time, she was actually willing to help make PPTs. It seemed that she really wanted to integrate into their group. But Chloe didn't disappoint us after all. She's a naive and innocent girl. The PPT was messy in layout and format. The copied and pasted research papers still had the website addresses not deleted. Even the organized notes were full of loopholes and incomplete. Their group was severely criticized and asked to redo the work. Just like that, with her innocent big eyes blinking, Chloe was mercilessly kicked out of the group by the next door dormitory. After this incident, she became famous again, this time for her unique academic style. Following the incident of being beaten on the playground, not only did no one want to include her in group work for various class assignments, but people also avoided her in daily life. The whole semester passed in such a peaceful and harmonious way. Soon, it was time for the final exams. When we entered the examination room, Chloe's eyes were constantly following me. As soon as we chose our seats and sat down, she immediately pushed Lily aside and sat behind me. The classroom was a large step-style classroom, and she was exactly one head higher than me sitting behind. I knew what she was up to. She didn't attend classes, didn't read books, and didn't study. If it weren't for the organized keynotes we shared with her in the previous life, Chloe's final exams wouldn't have been so easy. But this time, no one would help her. She actually came up with the idea of cheating. After the exam, I told Ava and the others not to say anything. I was waiting for the last exam, advanced mathematics, and for that serious old man. In the previous few exams, I deliberately pretended not to notice and left my answer-filled test paper right on the table. But today, I covered my test paper tightly. I could feel the person behind me making more and more obvious movements, even shaking the surrounding desks and chairs. "What are you doing?" The thin, bespectacled old man walked straight over as soon as he saw her obvious cheating behavior. Chloe was so frightened that she trembled and stammered, unable to say a word for a long time. "Teacher, she has been trying to peek at my test paper answers from behind." "Well, I'll speak for her." Hearing my words, Chloe became angry from embarrassment. "You're talking nonsense. It was you who were cheating. I was just trying to confirm it." It seemed that she wasn't completely brainless. She actually wanted to drag me down with her. The teacher looked at both of us and said, "Come to my office." Since I often communicate with the teacher and ask questions, he is quite familiar with me. "Tell me what's going on." "I didn't cheat, teacher. If you don't believe me, we can take the spare test paper B again." He finally agreed to my proposal. Under the supervision of him and the counselor, Chloe and I completed test paper B together. This time, she really couldn't peek at all. When I finished and handed in my paper, there were still large blank areas on Chloe's paper. She was almost crying in a hurry. The truth was obvious, but she was still being stubborn. She said to the counselor, "Scarlett asked me to copy." Yes, she made an agreement with me. She helped me cheat. "Chloe, do you think, given our current relationship, I would let you copy?" "Counselor, you also know that our relationship is very tense, thanks to her frequent visits to the counselor to ask for a dorm room change before. Otherwise, I really wouldn't be able to defend myself." In the end, Chloe was given a demerit for cheating and had to take a makeup exam next semester. A holiday passed, and Chloe returned to school early to prepare for the makeup exam. Unfortunately, she didn't pass the makeup exam and had to retake the course. She really had a strong psychological quality. At the beginning of the new semester, with an expression as if those previous conflicts had never happened, she told us that she wanted to maintain a good dormitory relationship. "I'm sorry, Scarlett. I thought we were friends and could help each other. Besides, you're so good at studying. I didn't expect to cause you trouble. I'm really sorry. It doesn't matter anyway." Test paper B was a bit easier, and I got a better grade after taking it. Seeing her trying hard to suppress the twitching of her mouth, I smiled and turned away. She wanted to pretend, but I was too lazy to act with her. We found that she seemed to be in love again. She was chatting on voice calls with a man every day, but she never dared to make calls at night anymore. Maybe because she was fully devoted to her relationship, she didn't cause as much trouble as before. College life away from Chloe seemed to be more colorful and interesting. During the May Day holiday, the three of us decided to go to Lin Temple to pray. After all, the rebirth thing was really absurd. We also planned to travel and enjoy this hard-won college time. However, we couldn't book the return tickets, so we decided to go back to school one day earlier than originally planned. Most of the classmates in the building either went home or went out to play. We didn't meet many people on the way. When we got close to the dormitory, we smelled a strong smell of smoke. I felt something was wrong even before opening the door. My eyelids were twitching constantly. Lily was walking in the front and opened the door. As the door opened, I heard two screams. One was Lily's, and the other was Chloe's. From inside the room, I rushed forward and saw the dormitory in chaos. Our clothes and daily necessities were swept to the floor. Besides the unpleasant smell of smoke, there was an indescribable stench in the room. Chloe was standing in front of Lily's desk, using her cosmetics. Something was wrong. Chloe didn't smoke. With such a strong smell of smoke in the room, there must be someone else. I rushed to the balcony and then to the toilet, but I didn't see anyone. I went up to question Chloe. She refused to admit it, and her eyes were shifting. But I still followed Chloe's guilty gaze and lifted my bed curtain. A middle-aged man was squatting on my bed, squinting his triangular eyes and grinning, showing his black-yellow teeth at me. Amid the screams and interrogations of Ava and Lily, the middle-aged man jumped off the bed and ran away while we were distracted. He was an acquaintance in the previous life. When Chloe and I took the high-speed rail back to school, she chatted with this middle-aged man she had never met before all the way. When getting off the train, she exchanged WeChat IDs with him despite my block. That night, the man sent a series of disgusting and pornographic pictures, and she even showed them to the whole dormitory. We all advised her to delete him, but Chloe said he was just being too kind and regarded her as a friend, and he sent her those pictures because he trusted her. She also said we were overthinking and maliciously speculating about him. I didn't expect they would meet again in this life. Moreover, Chloe blatantly brought him to the dormitory while we were away. After a careful check, we found that the things on our 3 desks were rummaged through messily, and the wardrobes were no exception. Some of my personal clothes were also taken out and crumpled up, placed on the top of the wardrobe. I felt so disgusted that I almost threw up. I immediately took out my phone to call the police. When Chloe saw me calling the police, she rushed over screaming to stop me. He just came to stay for a couple of days. What are you doing? Ava rushed up to stop Chloe's actions. Chloe, what are you doing? You dared to bring a man back but are afraid to face it? Chloe couldn't break free from Ava and started to pretend to be pitiful and weak. No, I just thought he was so pitiful. He had nowhere to go during the holiday, and since you guys weren't here, I just let him stay for a couple of days. Can't you be a little kinder? If you're so kind, why didn't you take him to a hotel outside? Why did you have to bring him to the dormitory? We're not kind, so I'm calling the police now. As I was waiting for the call to connect, I was almost amused by Chloe's pious logic. In a fit of anger, Chloe picked up a water cup and smashed my phone to the ground, giving me a malicious smile. I've already called the police and asked the auntie to help check the surveillance. Just then, Lily, who had gone to find the dormitory auntie, came back. Hearing Lily's words, Chloe's face turned pale instantly. Really? I had just used this phone for a short time, and Chloe is about to get me a new one. She's really kind. The police came, and the counselor came too. Seeing us, the counselor let out a deep sigh. What happened to you guys again? We briefly explained the whole story. The more the counselor listened, the deeper his frown became. Chloe, bringing a strange man back to the dormitory violates the school rules. The police officer who checked the surveillance also retrieved the surveillance video from a few days ago, showing Chloe distracting the dormitory auntie while the man sneaked into the dormitory, and the video of his hasty escape today. Seeing this, Chloe insisted that it was her father. That's not a strange man. It's my father who came to visit me at school. Who cares who he is? You're not allowed to bring anyone back to the dormitory, and you used our things casually, slept in our beds. Who knows if he has any diseases? Ava was almost driven mad by her shamelessness. I looked at the chaotic dormitory and said, well, if it's your father, then compensate for the things your father stole and damaged. What did you say? Compensate for all the bedding of the 3 of us at the original price. Also, compensate for those clothes that were taken out, the used daily necessities, the gold bracelet that Lily's family bought for her and was in the drawer, and my phone, all at the original price. Why should I compensate? What evidence do you have? That's not up to you. If you don't want to, how about asking the police uncle to call your father here so we can deal with it together? Now the problem had escalated to an economic dispute, and we all went to the police station together. At the police station, Chloe couldn't bear the pressure and finally told the truth. The middle-aged man was also summoned to the police station. Seeing that the situation was not good, he took the initiative to return Lily's bracelet. Chloe also got in touch with her real parents. I could hear the angry shouts coming from the phone from a long distance away. The counselor tried to smooth things over again. "You're all classmates. There's no need to make a big deal out of this. Forgive others when you can. Later, let her apologize to you and promise not to do it again." Chloe bringing someone back to the dormitory was neither a big nor a small matter, but it was only a matter of morality and economy. We didn't accept the counselor's moral coercion and put forward our demands to her. First, we demanded that the school give Chloe a demerit for violating the school rules and issue a school-wide notice of criticism. Second, we demanded that they compensate for our losses. Finally, we demanded that Chloe move out of the dormitory immediately. "Is it necessary?" The counselor was puzzled. "It is," the three of us said in unison. When Chloe was moving out, she still pretended to look pitiful in front of other classmates. The school's notice of criticism came a bit too late. Did she think she could act innocent and get away with it after doing such things? Impossible. Our Ava, who has the widest information network in the school, vividly described her actions this time in her WeChat moments. Chloe became famous in the whole school again. Is she crazy? She dared to bring a strange man she just met not long ago to the dormitory. Such a person doesn't deserve to be in college. She should be in a mental hospital. My God, just thinking that I was in the same building as them those days makes me scared. What kind of person is she? She completely ignores everyone's safety. She's always been an idiot. After Chloe's actions were exposed, she was seen as a malicious fool in everyone's eyes. Just after the incident was exposed, she rushed into the dormitory and said angrily to Ava, "Why did you talk nonsense in your WeChat moments? Which sentence was wrong? How can you be so heartless? I was just doing good deeds. Good deeds will be rewarded, and evil deeds will be punished. You people will get what's coming to you. If there really is such a thing as good deeds being rewarded and evil deeds being punished, then it should be you, Chloe, who will really get what's coming to you." But that's great. Lily had recorded a video with her phone when Chloe rushed in. Ava continued to publicize her kindness for her. Since then, she seemed to disappear from the school. We could only see her occasionally in class, and she was rarely seen at other times. I usually tutor students outside the school to earn some living expenses. Because of the study progress, I came back to school a little later today. As soon as I arrived at the school gate, I vaguely felt that something was wrong. Was there that dark shadow by the flower bed? The light was very dim, and it was already very late, so there were not many classmates around. If I turned around and took a detour back to school, the school gate might be closed. So I could only force myself to walk in that direction. As I slowly approached the flower bed, I gradually made out the figure squatting there. When I turned around and started running back, that dark shadow suddenly jumped up and pounced on me. I ran and shouted for help. But I was quickly caught up, and the man dragged me towards the dark side of the road. "Where do you think you're running, expletive? Do you think you students can outsmart me? Why did you call the police, and I have to pay money? What's wrong with me staying in your dormitory for a while? I'm going to sleep with you now. Let's see if you still dare to call the police." I could smell a strong smell of alcohol on him. He was pulling at my clothes while cursing. Just in the chaos, the man on top of me was knocked aside, and a light shone over. It was Ava and Lily, and the reassuring sound of the police siren could also be heard. I quietly put the pepper spray I was holding back into my bag. All of this was arranged by us as early as a week ago. I found that Chloe was secretly following me to see what she was up to. I deliberately adjusted the tutoring time with the students' parents to the evening. During this period, and every time I returned to school, I took the paths with few people. The moment I saw the dark shadow in the grass today, I sent a text message to Ava and the others and then walked in that direction while keeping a call with the police officer whose contact information I got when reporting the case last time. The middle-aged man was hit on the head by a stone that Lily picked up from the ground beside them. He was now crouching aside wailing while covering his head. Soon he was taken away by the police, and we also went to the police station for investigation. At the police station, he kept saying that he was wronged, claiming that he was just drunk and acting crazy, and he didn't mean to do anything to me. However, the call records I made clearly documented his criminal evidence. But what I cared more about was how he knew my schedule and whereabouts. Sure enough, Chloe was also called to the police station. She still had that idiotic tearful look. I don't know. He just said he wanted to apologize to you all face to face, so I told him. Woo woo woo. I really didn't know, Scarlett. I'm sorry. I no longer cared whether she was really stupid or just pretending. Looking at the police officer who furrowed his brows because of her words, I just hoped she could explain things clearly to the police. Although the middle-aged man made all sorts of excuses, he was finally sentenced to 3 years in prison due to conclusive evidence and his previous criminal record. Although Chloe told him my schedule, since she insisted that she was completely unaware and was just being kind-hearted. And there was no evidence to prove that she conspired with the middle-aged man to harm me, she ultimately didn't receive any punishment. This made Ava and Lily extremely angry, but I was quite calm. Looking at the green gauze curtain that was gradually being set up due to the construction in the school grove, let her life return to its original track. The counselor specifically mentioned in the class meeting that everyone should try not to take the path near the school construction site. When we came out of the classroom, the 3 of us walked side by side, blocking the way behind. Lily, you must never go to the school construction site alone, okay? It's very dangerous. Really, Scarlett? Okay, I'll listen to you and won't go there. Chloe, who was walking behind us, sneered. What are you talking about? Do you have persecution paranoia? The workers are so simple and hardworking. People like you who maliciously speculate about others are the really dangerous ones. I think. Hearing this, Ava turned around and stared at Chloe, saying, We didn't say anything about your work or uncles. It's just that our sense of safety is stronger than yours. Considering you casually bring strangers to the dormitory, this is just our way of avoiding risks. Have we ever maliciously speculated about anyone? You're really good at moral kidnapping. If you're so great, you can go there every day. Yeah, we have persecution paranoia, and we're afraid you this big fool will harm us. You guys. Chloe gave us a look, then stomped her feet and left. But she really never fails to disappoint us. Chloe posted a photo in her WeChat moments of her delivering water to the construction team. In the photo, I immediately recognized the 2 scumbags who killed us in the previous life. I held Lily's hand, which was trembling with anger, and said, It's okay, Lily. Don't be afraid. This time we won't interfere in her life and let her reap what she sows. In the photo, the men's turbid and lousy eyes were staring straight at the fair skin that my roommate exposed. Besides us, many people in the comment section also noticed something wrong with the photo and left comments to dissuade her, telling her not to go there alone. Oh, it's okay, everyone. There is very warm and safe. I feel more at ease staying with them than dealing with some sarcastic and inhumane people. We, the so-called sarcastic and inhumane people, just silently looked at her WeChat moments and gave a thumbs up to support her behavior. Since then, she would occasionally post photos in her WeChat moments of her eating and drinking with those people. Looking at the increasingly blatant gazes of the people in the photos, I thought it shouldn't be long now. All of this will end soon. The police car and the ambulance came to the school at the same time. Chloe's body was carried out from a small ditch not far from the construction site. Her body was discovered by the school security uncle during his morning patrol with a dog. The whole body had decomposed beyond recognition under the high temperature of summer. According to the forensic identification, she had been dead for more than a week. That is to say, no one noticed that Chloe was missing during this week. Because Chloe often skipped classes and didn't go back to the dormitory often, and she didn't get along well with her new roommates, no one paid attention to her disappearance. Her body was found even later than we expected. But all of this was her own doing. As expected, the murderers were the two people who killed us in the previous life. After brutally raping and killing Chloe, they left the construction site and fled back to their hometown. Eventually, the police arrested them in their hometown, and the punishments awaiting them were inevitable. At Chloe's funeral, we saw her parents who were blaming and cursing each other, almost turning the funeral scene into another disaster. Perhaps this can explain why Chloe had such a personality. As days passed, in the information age, there were countless new pieces of information bombarding us every day. The case of Chloe, which had caused a sensation on campus, was soon no longer mentioned. After everything returned to calm, it seemed that we had truly shaken off the haze of the previous life. Looking up, the sun is shining brightly, and the road ahead is smooth.